In today's activity, we are going to discuss modernism and science. Between 1870 and 1914, many writers and artists rebelled against the traditional literary and artistic styles that had dominated Europe since the Renaissance. The changes were called modernism. Now, we're going to break this up into two sections. The first is Impressionism. This period was the most productive in art history. Since the Renaissance, artists tried to represent reality as accurately as possible. Now artists looked for new ways to express their changing views of the world. The most famous of these Impressionist artists is Claude Monet. He's the founder of French Impressionist painting. He painted pictures where he captured the interplay of light, water, and sky. And you can see here in some of his paintings, it's not very, the realism isn't there. It's more his use of shadows, light, water, and how they all come together. This is Claude Monet's Impression Sunrise. This is in the Musée Marmottan Monet in Paris. The Garden at Saint-Adresse. This is in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Another one of Monet's work is the cliffs at Etretat. I think I had that right, not sure. In the Clark Institute in Williamstown. And here we have London House of Parliament, the sun shining through the fog. This is in the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. And the water lilies. This is in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. Monet painted 250 oil paintings of his flower garden and lily ponds at his home in Giverny, France. 1880 Post-Impressionism. Vincent van Gogh, the Dutch post-impressionist painter who is among the most famous and influential figures in the history of Western art. He used color as a form of language. This is one of my favorites, the bedroom at Arles. This is in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. Van Gogh loved painting sunflowers. Here we see the still life vase with 12 sunflowers. This is in the Neue Pinkothek in Munich. And, of course, his most famous work, The Starry Night, in the Museum of Modern Art, the MoMA, in Manhattan. One of our favorites, Wheat Fields with Crows. This is also in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. We bought a print there, so this is also hanging in our living room. Van Gogh felt artists should paint what they feel. Unfortunately, Van Gogh suffered from psychotic episodes and delusions, and though he was worried about his mental stability, he often neglected his physical health, did not eat properly, and drank heavily. Once, when he was in a rage, he severed part of his own left ear with a razor. Sadly, when he was 37 in 1890, Van Gogh shot himself in the chest. As photography grew, artists looked not to mirror reality, which a camera could do, but create their own reality. Pablo Picasso, Spanish painter, is one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. He created a new form of art called Cubism. Geometric designs to recreate reality in the viewer's mind. We see this here in the young ladies of Avignon, which he painted in 1907. This is also in the Museum of Modern Art in Manhattan. Here we see the three musicians. He painted this in 1921. Definitely you can see the cubist form, the clarinet player on the left, the guitarist in the center, and the bearded gentleman on the right who's playing some sort of stringed instrument. And a classical form of what we expect from Picasso, Seated Woman, the portrait of Marie-Thérèse Walter. Now we're going to discuss science. Since the scientific revolution, people believed in the concepts of Isaac Newton. Physical laws of time, space, and matter were objective realities that existed independently of those observing them. All matter was composed of solid materials, or atoms. At the end of the 19th century, that would all change. Marie Curie was a Polish and French physicist and chemist. She discovered an element, radium. It gave off energy or radiation from the atom. And it proved atoms were not simply hard material bodies, but small active worlds. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. In 1903, in physics with her husband Pierre. She won again in 1911, this time for chemistry. Her achievements included the development of the theory of radioactivity. She discovered two elements. Along with radium, she discovered polonium. Unfortunately, the exposure to radiation eventually killed her. We all know that Madame Curie is a favorite of Mr. Mamora, as we see here with his bobblehead that we gave him. Another famous scientist was the German physicist Albert Einstein. In 1905, he developed the theory of relativity. It's one of the two pillars of modern physics alongside quantum mechanics. Space and time are not absolute, but are relative to the observer. Matter and energy reflect the relativity of time and space. Matter is another form of energy, which led to an understanding of energies within an atom. Einstein is best known for his mass-energy equivalence formula, E equals mc squared. Einstein published more than 300 scientific papers, and in 1921 was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in Physics. Unfortunately, he was visiting the United States in 1933 when Hitler came to power, and being Jewish, he did not return to Berlin, but spent the rest of his life living in Princeton. The last thing we're going to discuss is psychoanalysis. The Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud studied the human mind and became the founder of psychoanalysis. He believed that painful past experiences are repressed, but they continue to influence behavior because they are part of the subconscious. He used psychoanalysis to probe the memory back to childhood to unlock repressed thoughts and heal patients. Freud elaborated his theory of the unconscious and went on to develop a model of psychic structure comprising the id, ego, and superego. Freud lived and worked in Vienna. Being Jewish in 1938, Freud left Austria to escape the Nazis. Well, this is the end of our section on modernism and science. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your day. Thank you. Now, before you go, I would like you to answer these 6 questions and upload them into Google Classroom. Thank you.